Hi, everybody, and welcome to Cockatoo. Cockatoos with attitude. Yeah, I've got a bunch on me with attitude today. I don't know what the deal is, but even Mander is sitting on me, so I think they all want to say goodbye to Cos. So I've got a little video I put together about Cozi, and I'm going to play that right now. So give me a second to find it. I have to turn the phone around because these guys haven't. Hey, watch where you're whacking me on the head. I thought Mander was up there for a second. Cosmo's journey. She came into this world with a sister named Simone, and for the first 12 years of their lives, that little ante-room between a kitchen and a garage was all they knew. Just the two of them, side by side, with no toys, no sunshine, no human laughter. Only each other. In that small space they learned the wrong lessons about love. That comfort came from plucking, and closeness came with pain. When they came into our care, they carried those lessons with them. For a short time, they stayed with one of our board members before coming home to the Chloe Sanctuary in Fallbrook. They couldn't bear to be apart. Yet when they were together, they hurt each other. Simone grew territorial, chasing Salamander, Mander, and eventually she found a new home in New Jersey. She's thriving there now. But for Cosmo, that separation left a shadow. She never took to toys. 12 years without play had stolen that curiosity from her. So instead, I became her toy, her perch, her safety. If I was cooking, she was there, on my shoulder, watching. When I went out for water, she came with me. Mornings, evenings, every feeding. She wanted to be part of it, not for things, but for connection. Then her sight began to fade. Around the same time, I learned about avian ganglioneuritis, a cruel, hidden illness. I put two and two together, started her on medication, and watched something miraculous happen. Her weight came back. From 409 grams to 445, her vision even began to return. First in her left eye, then her right. For a while, hope filled the room again. But hope is a fragile thing. She started to lose weight once more, and one day she began to fall from her perch. The next day, she was gone. I knew it was time. I lay beside her on the bed, so she wouldn't have to go alone. She passed in my arms, peaceful, finally free of everything that had hurt her. There are always regrets. There always will be. None of us get it perfect. But Cosmo knew love. She knew safety. And she knew that every moment she had left, she was wanted. I miss you, little girl. You were never just another bird. You were part of my every morning, every evening, every heartbeat in between. I love you, my Cosmo, and I'll carry you, always.
Amanda.
So, hello and welcome everybody to our live stream today. It's a sad occasion. We lost last Thursday our sweet beloved Cozi bird, and we are really thankful that you are here with us today. So, let me greet the people joining us. Jocelyn Trickle is here, Tiki Tiki. Then we have Eleanor and Jem and Jamie are in chat. And all the other viewers. So, hello, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. A little crowded here right now. If there's one thing about birds, they're quite sensitive to how you feel. So, Mander generally will not sit on my lap, but getting a little crowded here today. Even Lucy's right there, and Snowball's over there. And of course, some of the. Let me switch the camera here. If I can get it to work. Turn on camera. Some of the Moluccans, of course, have to do the social distancing. It's part of their way of living. And Pippa's being smart, staying back there so she doesn't cause any trouble. That's part of the point of having the larger aviary. Ozzy liked it. She really enjoyed coming out here. She only got to come out a few times, but what are you doing up there? Huh? Hey, Lucy. Yeah, that poor little girl being left between the kitchen and a garage for 12 years. And much as I tried, I could not get her to play with toys. She just wouldn't do it. Big toys, little toys, you name it. She had no interest in toys. The only thing she wanted to be was out with me. So it wasn't so bad when we were in Fallbrook. She was a little more social, but I haven't talked about those 7 months. But, I was living with people who were not exactly friendly. And the birds really didn't like being there. They were cramped in that one room. So I think a lot of the stress that they were put through, I mean, that could be why Cozi developed the AGN, is because of stress. That's one of the things we know causes it. So they're all being tested for that now, just to make sure we catch it early. Right now, the only one we know for sure has it is Cecil. Although I think that this little one does, because she's not stable on her feet, and that's not normal for an umbrella. Um, he could, because of his strange problem with his vent area. Romeo's likely to have it now. He already is upset with me because we had to take blood from him, which meant I had to throw a bath towel around him to get him out of his cage. So he'll come out and sit with me, but he won't come out to the aviary right now. He just won't do it. I don't know what's in his head, but when I ask him to do it, he just walks away from me. So, isn't that right, Cecil? He goes, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you can sit on top of that bucket, but it's got water pistols to keep you guys from getting too friendly. and to stop any fights that might happen before I can run over to them. Of course, this little guy had to figure out there were water pistols. That's why I put the towel over it, because he was trying to get to the water pistols. Pretty bird, you want down here, pretty bird? See what I mean about her foot? That's why I think she has it. That's not normal. See, that whole behavior, some of the things I saw in the videos with birds that have AGN, so we'll see, huh, kid? I know you guys didn't see much of Cosmo because by the time we got here, she was pretty well, she had problems with her vision by the time she got here. And then I think because she couldn't see the other birds clearly, she was more aggressive, more territorial. I saw her every morning, and we cooked together, and then we delivered the food to everybody together. And every night we did that, and every time I had to go down to get water to fill up those 5-gallon jugs, she was with me. If I had to go out and do something else, she'd come along. Not every time, but most times she was the one to go because she was the one who needed to be out the most. So right now, the one who's getting out a little more is Lucy, because I wanted to get her out more, but didn't have the time to do it. Well, I got her out, but to get her out, and she's hanging out in the kitchen with me. She has no idea what that means. And I'm just letting her try to explore, because she's another one that doesn't play with toys much. She plays a little bit now, but when I first got her, she didn't play with any toys. Now she is playing with some toys. Aren't you, girl? Hmm. Lorelai, what are you doing? Oh, yeah, you're just preening. I believe that. I believe it. Tell me another story. Hmm? Can you make an Eddie Murphy voice and say, "Tell me a story"? So I'm bringing her out so that she gets a little more time out of her cage. I mean, she gets time out, but she doesn't get any one-on-one. Um, a lot of the other birds, Bob would never stay in place if he did that. She jumped off the perch a couple of times, and today I have to watch it because Cos wouldn't do that. Cos might play in the other room, but she wouldn't jump off the perch on the floor. So I got to be careful when I walk around. I have to shuffle my feet. Pretend I'm 80 and I'm shuffling my feet. It won't take too long to get there. Yeah, she's not, some people will try to fill the spot for their own needs, but I'm filling it because her in that spot because she needs it. It's not something that it's never going to replace Cause. So, but the point is to get her out. I've got a spot I can put her in, so I just have to teach her not to fly on the floor. Until then, I have to shuffle my feet. Right, girl? When I step on the loose girl. I was doing those videos with Cosmo, cooking with Cosmo. I like doing them, but she did not like those videos. She did not like me setting the camera up and talking while I was cooking. She really didn't care much for it, so that's why I stopped doing them. She wasn't really thrilled with it. She liked to be in the kitchen with me while I was cooking, but then that's different, being up on the shoulder while I'm cooking, and I can't do that while I'm cooking and explaining things because I have to protect her. So she'd have to sit on a perch. She didn't think a lot of that. She wanted to be part of the action, not scenery in the action. So she was one of the birds I was trying to think if I should get a larger cage for, but it wouldn't have done any good. She would generally just sit on that one perch, and I think that was because she had gone nearly blind when she was at that place in California where we spent 7 months. All of them had severe problems. Bob had problems with that. He's not showing anything different, so I think we're okay with him. But you never know. Um, that's where Mander became more paranoid. Snowball didn't have as much of a problem with it because he got to fly in and out to the aviary. He liked to be held and fly, so he liked it. It makes me do it now too, don't you? Although I've got him down to where I just have to fly him back in because you have to run. He can fly faster than I can run, so I have to run to his cage. And it's a pretty long runway. It's like a bowling alley through that kitchen area. Yeah, when I was in the I knew that kind of something was going on too, and I'd take her to go get water. At first, when you'd get out of the vehicle and you walk away, she used to scream, and she stopped doing that. And and when that happened was she had not only lost her vision, but she lost her ability to talk. And then she started squawking again after going on the medicine, which you have to inject every 3 days. She she started squawking again, and then the day before she died, just as clear as a bell, she said, "Hi, cockatoo." So I guess that was her goodbye, because I'd been asking her to say it, hoping her voice would come back. Next day, she was gone. I'd always hoped that she could see her sister one more time, but that never happened. So look at those guys down there. They look like they took some Novocaine or something. Whenever I would make a video, like a little short video, I would always bring her to sit on my shoulder, almost always. And I can only think of maybe a couple times I didn't do that because she just loved to sit up on my shoulder. So it was obvious that she enjoyed being up there. You can put Cecil on your shoulder. He likes to go up there, but on his own terms. Cos would always go up there, but don't start. I got a water pistol. You guys aren't going to start. I want you both out at the same time. I'm trying to get them all out. So I have to get. If I had KK out right now, he'd have to go right back in because he'd start a fight. But right now he's getting along with Lorelei. I have him and Lorelei out at the same time. She'll be out a second time today because she'll be out with him. She is. she's a little bit territorial. So that's one way of putting it. She's territorial, so if he can learn to get around with her, then he can slowly start learning to get along with other birds. He gets along with Cecil now, and he's pretty much okay with Lorelei. So we'll start him on another bird, one that I'm fairly sure isn't going to cause a problem, like Snowball. I wouldn't put Mander in that situation because Mander will pretend he's brave sometimes, and the next thing you know, he'll get himself into a situation he can't handle.
Mm-hmm.
Something like a tiger being afraid of a frog. Um, he's such a big bird, but he's sticks his beak where he shouldn't, and then all of a sudden he's running away. Oh, run away, run away. Now
Let's
leave her
panic.
alone. That's him. If he could read, I'd give him the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe because the first thing it says is "Don't panic." He wouldn't understand that. He would say, "Why would anybody say not to panic? That's how I spend my life, panicking."
Mm-hmm.
I took the net instead of removing the net because the small birds seem to get in here anyway. Today I just pinned it up out of the way so that they could see better outside. You're going to give her a little bit more space. You're getting a little too friendly. No, we're not doing that. Nope. Lorelei.
So
Cecil.
there comes Bob to help micromanaging.
Yep. Why don't you go see Bob? Bob's looking for somebody to hang around with. No, you're not coming back over here right now. No, no.
So we have a couple more chatters. We have Topper Dean here, then Karen Haid, Rosebud Atkins, Eric Bryan, and Buktia Shah. So hello, good to have you here.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for coming. Even it's a really sad occasion today.
I just wish that everybody else could know her like I did, but she wasn't much for that. A lot of the pictures I have, it's obvious she's like, don't point the camera at me. Getting pictures where she actually looked like she was interested in being photographed were pretty small. There's only a few of those. She had the best head shake. I'm gonna try to. I think she did a couple of those in those cooking videos. I'm gonna see if I can find those sections and isolate them. Nobody could do a head shake like her. You could really tell she was happy when she was doing it. Cecil, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just keeping you away from her. It's not good for you or her in this situation. You need to focus on something else. Focus on something else. Let me see how your chest is doing. How's the breathing? It's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. You can't. It's not nowhere near as pronounced as it used to be. That little stain on his chest is from the first couple of injections I was trying to do, where I couldn't quite hold him in place. Now he knows to stay in place. He doesn't move around. So he's not happy about getting injections, but I actually think he hates. I think he actually hates having his food taken away at night more than anything else. Because just before I turn the lights on, I take his food out, and he fights me about it every night. The only thing Cos ever fought me on is when she was trying to protect me from the other birds. She was being territorial, and she would fight me about that. She never tried to bite me though, but she would try to, which is normal if they're trying to protect you. But she would look at me like, "What are you crazy? I'm in charge here. I'm protecting you." Where are you going? Where are you going? Bob? What does that mean? Babaloo? Yeah? Becca's not here. Becca's not here. You're not going to be able to reach California. Good luck with that, Bob.
I think he's more calling it because he's upset. And you could see he was upset when it became clear that Cozi is about to die. So his behavior might be tricking us, but Bob, he cares. He knows what's going on.
Yeah. Well, he lived with her a long time. They didn't get along well, but he looked pretty shocked when he saw her on the bed after she passed. That's something you need to show your birds when that happens. You can't don't just don't just if you're at the vet when it happens, you got to bring them back and show the other birds because then they don't, otherwise they don't know what happened, right? Bob, Bob, what are you doing? Becca. Uh, Bob. Hey, come here, Babaloo. Come here, come here. Come on, Bob. Well, come here, Babaloo. That's right, Babaloo. Come here. Come on, Bob. Come here. Come on, Babaloo. Come on. Well, come here. Come on. Well, come here. Well, come on. Lovely song. Lovely song, Jasmine. Come here. Bob. A lovely song, Jasmine. Come here. Jazzy, Jazzbird. Jazzy, Jasmine. Bob, come here. Come on. Come here. Jasmine. Who pulled the string? Who pulled the string on the cockatoo? Babaloo. Babaloo. Kisses.
Now he's giving kisses. What a good boy.
Kisses. Babaloo, kisses. Jazzy, Jazzbird. Jasmine. Jasmine. I don't suppose you guys can hear that. Jasmine.
No, it's muted out. We can hear you, we can hear the Bob, but when Jasmine is screaming, we cannot hear it.
I'm sure the neighbors can.
What
Yeah,
they do.
the only way you can fix that is to start. I hear you up there. It's to start it on your computer, but it's a really complicated thing. And if it should die on the computer while you're out here, then you're in a world of you know what. So
Mm.
they're not really expecting people to be outside doing this, and in a aviary with a bunch of birds. Bob, how many birds are in a bunch? Woof, woof, woof. No, there aren't any dogs in a bunch of birds.
Maybe a cockatoo or twice.
Jasmine. Jazz. Hi, Lucy. Snowball. Snowball.
Snowball is a
Andrew.
sweetie.
Yeah, he sat on my chest for about a half an hour yesterday. Becca. No, there's no Becca. No Becca. Well, that's the thing. When it comes to diagnosis, if you don't diagnose it early enough, you're going to end up with a similar result. I know somebody who's waiting to see the symptoms when they've already got a result saying that it's active. So, and no amount of talking to people seems to get through. But if I had been able to start her on that medicine maybe a year ago or more, she'd still be with us. Of course, I didn't know about AGN a year ago, but Peaches would have survived too, and the same thing. But early diagnosis, get them tested. As most you guys are going to stop that now. Yoo-hoo. No, I'm going to get you guys out here, but I don't want you doing that. So you're going to have to keep a little separation from Lorelai. I know. Eventually, you guys are going to try to move to some other part of the aviary, but the squirt guns I have reach 20 feet, so they'll definitely reach you. You look like they hold enough water for about 20 good shots. So, all nice, clean, purified water. Oh, you're going to chew on the chair now. Uh huh. I figures.
Bob.
Shoes on.
So as it was a topic or is a topic in the chat, all the cockatoos of the flock were able to say goodbye to Cozi. So
Yeah.
all of them realized she was in bad shape that day, and then when she passed, they could see her and say goodbye, realize she passed.
Yeah, I made the mistake with the first bird that passed not doing that, and I won't make that mistake again. So they have to go through whatever psychological change is necessary after something like that, like we do. So, hi, Jasmine. There's the cockatoo. What's up, Bob? That's amazing. I have a full record of her weight starting when it started to drop. When it dropped at to 422, I was nervous, and then when it dropped to 420, I started recording morning and evening weights. So I have 2.5 months of recorded weights on her, watching it go, down, down, and then up, up, up on the medication, and then down again. So, you gonna preen her? Are you gonna preen her? Yeah, in a way, Cos was kind of a turtle part of the time. She would just kind of pull into her little shell in her cage and just sit there. But as soon as she got some attention, boy, she was a bright light. She just loved attention. The kind of bird that could pull you right out of a depression. She was just, not that I get depressed that much, but being around her was always a positive experience. Bob isn't always so positive. I love him to death, but he will intentionally try to irritate me. And Lorelei's a minx, so yeah, you know that's one of your names, Minx. You know that, right? Lorelei likes to mess with me too. Cecil only hits me with his toys. That's his idea of messing with me. But he's preening Lucy right now. Funny about Cause, she was the least happy and the most happy. She would go to, just isolate herself until she got attention. And as soon as she got attention, she was like a bulb burning twice as bright as it should. Guess that's what happens after you've been basically isolated for 12 years. Funny how the board member that had her, stop it, gave me Simone and Cause because she said the neighbors found them too loud. And of all the birds, of all the umbrellas I've been around, they are the quietest, or they were. I know that Simone can get pretty loud, but she's nowhere near as loud as Bob or Cecil when Cecil goes off. Or this big monster. Hello, big monster.
Hi, Mander. Fluffy boy.
Monster. Hi. Monster Mander.
So we have a HD cockatoo with us, as well as Natalie and James and Richie cockatoo. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for being here, guys. Sorry, it's a little depressing today, but that's the way life
Well,
is.
it's a memorial for our Cozi, who passed last Thursday and left us rather sudden, so we weren't prepared for that, since it actually went upward with her in so many ways. But yeah, she has suffered a lot in her life, and that has had a toll on her.
Yeah, she got an extra. Well, it looks like because of the medication, she got an extra 2.5 months, is what happened. So she probably would have died within a week when she was going down. But once I got her on the medication, she gained her weight back and started to see again. And, she actually was able to talk the day before she died. So you wish you had hindsight. Hindsight's 2020. If we had known about AGN even a year ahead of this, she'd probably still be with us. And if we'd known it 5 years, 6 years ahead of it, then Peaches would still be with us. And there will be a lot of people out there that hear the message about avian ganglioneuritis who will just ignore it, and then they'll have to deal with regret. Was it in the movie? What's the name of that movie? Inception. There's a scene where it says, "Do you want to be an old man living with your regrets?" The best I can say is the second I realized that when you took your hand and you went up to her face quickly, you took your hand and you went like that. She didn't move, she didn't react, but the eye did. So that was a clear sign that there was a nervous problem. So got the test going and immediately put her on the medicine anyway, because it's not going to cause any. It's not going to, you know, it's not a poison. It's not going to kill your birds. So, put her on the medication right away, which is good because if we'd waited the 2.5 weeks it took to get the diagnosis back, she might not have made it. So, but I know how people are. I know how I am. Like a human. It's a human fault that we will say, "Oh well, that's not going to happen to me. That's going to happen to somebody else." I'm pretty sure that the last person who got hit by lightning was saying that, you know, oh, the lightning will hit somebody else. Hey, leave my shoes alone, you monster. He says, "My name's Bob. I'm not a monster. Those are my shoes. That's your tail. That's your tail. You get my shoe, I'll get your tail. I get your tail." No. Bob, what are you doing? That's my shoe. Such as it is. Boy, boy. What are you doing? Hey, girl. How's the Lucy? How's the Lucy? How's the Lucy girl? Hmm? You okay? Hmm? You two.
too friendly, huh?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, they're not too, but it could get that way. So I have to let them know I'm watching.
Just the faces look too friendly.
Well, they're a mated pair. They made that
Yeah.
decision when they were in. They didn't make that decision when they were out. They made that decision when they were in cages. So I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, other than keeping them separated. But they can be out. They just have to kind of watch their behavior. I have a squirt bottle. Let's not get too wound up here. Here, why don't you sit back there for a minute? There you go. And why don't you leave her alone for a minute? Yeah, Cos really loved her sister, and that's something I would probably not have done just for her sake if I had known it. At the time, I had not taken Dr. Zelig's course in Animal Training 101. So while I had a good grasp of ABA, I hadn't had a lot of practical with it yet. And that's one of the things that Dr. Zelig's does. Her whole course is practical. You see the practical, you see how it works, and then she explains why. But the course I took was explaining why. That was basically it. Stop. My first course with Dr. Friedman was mostly academic. It's a great course, though. I'm not knocking it. It's a great course, but I think both those courses are. You're going to take one. I'd take Dr. Zelig's first, and then try to get into Dr. Friedman's course. It's not easy. Not easy to get into it. It limits how many people can be in it, and usually it's veterinarians. So if you want, don't chew on my ear, Bob. If you want to get into it, you have to fight tooth and nail. But you used to give a free course, and you didn't have the contact. You didn't have the weekly phone calls where you were called on the carpet to show that you really knew what you were studying. But she stopped doing it, and the reason she stopped doing it is because people don't appreciate what they don't pay for. So I know somebody who took that course and doesn't know a thing. Essentially, just took the course, and you might as well have just poured beans over her head, and you'd got about the same effect. So. But when you pay $700, $800, $900 for a course, you're going to study and you're going to learn it. So, it's not true in every country. I think it's pretty true in United States and some of the other Western countries. But hey, Bob, calm down. It's just a car. It's not the end of the world. They do come by once in a while. What I learned from Cause was that you can come back from severe. Hey, calm down, Bob. That you can come back from severe PTSD because that's really what she had. So she never overcame all of it. But is there some reason you're putting your tail feathers in my face? You trying to tell me something? Leave you alone when you're messing with Lorelai? Bob, hey, hey, quiet. Hey, that's enough. Stop. Bob, stop it. Yeah, she came. Hey, every time I start to talk, you yell. Stop it. Hey, that's enough. We have neighbors. Yeah, they're good about not complaining. But Bob, Lou, stop, silly bird.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah, she came back a long way. I mean, she looked like she'd been put through a garbage disposal when I got her.
Yeah, she looked terrible because her sister Simone, she was the barber when I remember right.
Yep, that's right. Well, they did a
So
little bit on
Cozi,
each. They each did it because you look. Simone had some head feathers missing too. So.
yeah, but they were rather bold, both.
Yep.
I think some of them only had a little fluff left, and all the other feathers were gone. So they were in a really bad state when they actually came to us. Flappy.
He goes does. As he does. Lorelai. Come on, what is it? Vocalization day? Ah, jeez. Come on, guys. You guys are something else today. What's the deal? Are you gonna laugh now? That's Lorelai's chuckle. She goes, You laughing at me, Lorelai? Well, Cecil, if you're gonna go up there, you ought to at least preen her.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Shug.
Oh,
Oh,
the Moluccans came over.
yeah.
What an immense honor.
He came down and was sitting on my shoulder yesterday.
Shuggy.
Yep.
She knows you're sad. Actually, I think she only comes down to sit on you when she believes you are sad.
Pretty much. That's it. You're a good girl, Shug. She puts up with me now because I have to give Cecil his medication before I pet her in the morning. So he likes me to pet her head before everything else gets started. But I have to give him his first medication for his liver, and then I have to wait an hour before I feed him. So I have to set my watch for an hour. It's hurried up the breakfast thing. It's amazing. I can get the breakfast out to him by 9 now, which is I never could do that before. I've reorganized everything so I can have it ready. I give him his medication pretty much at 8, and then by 9, he's got his food, his wet food and his dry food, and then I deliver everybody else's. Sorry, Bob. You having fun over there? You are? Okay. Hey, he didn't mean to hurt you if he did. Not Cecil. He would never hurt somebody. Unless he's holding a toy and he's not. He didn't mean to hurt you. He probably pulled a feather. Wish I could have recorded that one last high cockatoo, but I was driving back from getting in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been saying hi cockatoo to her all the time lately. And, just for once, I was quiet in the vehicle as we were driving back, and she just looked at me and said it.
What a special moment. Eric Bryan says, I'm going to ask the vet about AGN test. I think there must be some kind of information available on our YouTube channel. So we already had a couple of videos about it, and also where the vet has to send the test, because I think there's only one laboratory so far who is actually doing it.
Molecular diagnostics, and I'll put the link up right now, so if I can get to that point where I can do it. The link to the video that you can watch, it is actually from Dr. Dahlhausen, the one that led the team that found this out. So if you don't get them tested and then you start seeing a problem, by the time you've figured it out, it's probably going to be too late. So it's not an expensive test. You're never quite sure what the doctors are going to charge you for it, but um, yeah, did it go? I can never tell. I know I can't post them to some. There we go. That's the link to the video.
Thank you.
And as is usual with anything new that we discover, there's still a lot of people who don't know about it. I know one vet that it came back. Basically, if it's under 200 when they do the test, it's not there. There are no antibodies attacking the nerves. If it's over 200, then yes, there are antibodies that are attacking, but you won't normally see the effects of that till it's over 300. By the time you get to over 300, you're probably it's like the guy the person who takes their bird into the vet when it's been on the bottom of the cage for 2 days. When all the vet can really say to you is, what size do you want the remains? What kind of container would you like the remains in? So if it comes up as positive, even if it's low and you don't see any symptoms, put them on the medication. If you do X-rays and they don't have a problem with digestion, you don't see like proventriculitis, um, fancy words for the proventriculus is inflamed, right? So if you don't see that in the X-rays, then you can probably use Celebrex instead of Onsior and do it orally. But once you start having problems digesting, then you're going to have to use the needle. And if it's getting close to 300 or over 300, you better do the injections. Because even if you don't see a problem with the proventriculitis, you might also they might not also be able to digest their food properly. So it's great that we don't have a cure, but we have a solution for this. But it's one of those catch it early deals, and a lot of people are, they walk around with their fingers in their ears since they were kids, going, "Nah, nah, 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 I don't hear you, I don't hear you," until it's too late. So I didn't do that with Cause, but with Peaches, there wasn't, we didn't know so at all.
Back then, there
Hmm.
wasn't the research done
Mm-mm.
we have now. And with course, it also was delayed.
And the reason we don't get this research done is because of the economic system in the US. It rewards people for making money, not for doing studies to improve lives. It's all about the dollar. And frankly, I don't care about the dollar. That's why I don't monetize. By the way, if you ever see a video of ours and it's monetized, there's an ad or there's anything like that, just bypass the ad. I don't take any money from any of that. So I don't believe in it. I think it's the wrong reason to do something. If you're not going to do it because it's right, don't bother. Okay. So, well, I wish my little Cozi was still here, but and believe me, I think about her all the time. So,
Yeah, we are still kind of in shock.
want her back on my shoulder.
Mm.
Well, thanks, guys, for being here and commiserating with me. And I'll close the meeting by showing that video one more time if I can get to it.
Cosmo's journey. She came into this world with a sister named Simone, and for the first 12 years of their lives, that little ante-room between a kitchen and a garage was all they knew. Just the two of them, side by side, with no toys, no sunshine, no human laughter. Only each other. In that small space they learned the wrong lessons about love. That comfort came from plucking, and closeness came with pain. When they came into our care, they carried those lessons with them. For a short time, they stayed with one of our board members before coming home to the Chloe Sanctuary in Fallbrook. They couldn't bear to be apart. Yet when they were together, they hurt each other. Simone grew territorial, chasing Salamander, Mander, and eventually she found a new home in New Jersey. She's thriving there now. But for Cosmo, that separation left a shadow. She never took to toys. 12 years without play had stolen that curiosity from her. So instead, I became her toy, her perch, her safety. If I was cooking, she was there, on my shoulder, watching. When I went out for water, she came with me. Mornings, evenings, every feeding. She wanted to be part of it, not for things, but for connection. Then her sight began to fade. Around the same time, I learned about avian ganglioneuritis, a cruel, hidden illness. I put two and two together, started her on medication, and watched something miraculous happen. Her weight came back. From 409 grams to 445, her vision even began to return. First in her left eye, then her right. For a while, hope filled the room again. But hope is a fragile thing. She started to lose weight once more, and one day she began to fall from her perch. The next day, she was gone. I knew it was time. I lay beside her on the bed, so she wouldn't have to go alone. She passed in my arms, peaceful, finally free of everything that had hurt her. There are always regrets. There always will be. None of us get it perfect. But Cosmo knew love. She knew safety. And she knew that every moment she had left, she was wanted. I miss you, little girl. You were never just another bird. You were part of my every morning, every evening, every heartbeat in between. I love you, my Cosmo, and I'll carry you, always.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a non-profit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.